Hello, kindergartners, first graders, second graders, and third graders. It's Mrs. Hilliard here in Occupational Therapy, and I am here to show you what we are going to be doing for the week of May 10th. So I hope you're having a great day. We're going to get started. In bit number 1, we have an upper limb coordination activity as our warm-up. So I know we've practiced throwing a ball at a target and throwing a ball up in the air and catching it. Now we're going to practice playing catch with a partner. So you might need to find a partner in the house to do this, and go ahead and find a kickball or any kind of Nerf ball that you can throw and catch and not break anything. So find a lot of space and make sure there's nothing fragile around you that can break when you throw a ball in the house. So you can also use a tennis ball. That's pretty safe. So the way that we learn to play catch or learn to catch a ball in OT is we start by grading the distance between us. So we might start by standing only 3 or 4 feet away, and then we take a step back and try it 5 feet away, and then 6 feet away, and 7 feet away, and so forth. We usually don't stand farther than 10 feet apart, but we do start using a larger ball to practice catching, and then we grade it to become a little more difficult using a smaller ball. So you are going to practice throwing and catching a ball with a partner 10 times as your warm-up. So I'm just going to throw it up in the air 10 times in case you're working with me because I don't have a partner to film this video. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and make sure you try to close your hand in time. So part of the problem with catching for some kids is when they catch the ball, they don't close their hand fast enough around the ball. So it's really about closing your hands quickly to catch the ball. So we're going to do ready, set, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, so if you can catch and throw a large ball, and this is a nice one to start with because it's squishy, then you might want to move on to throwing and catching a tennis ball. That's a lot harder. So even if I throw it up in the air, I have to focus a little bit harder on catching it and closing my hands in time. So that's our warm-up for this week, upper limb coordination. We're going to move on to bin number 2 for some cutting and some writing. We're going to make a fish bowl this week. So you will need white paper, and you'll need any color for the rocks. I chose purple, and some orange paper, and a blue marker or crayon. You'll also need your circle tracer if you have a plate or a bowl in your house or a lid. And grab some writing paper and a pencil too, because we're going to write a poem. So we're going to start by putting our circle tracer on top of our white paper in the middle. And grab a blue crayon or marker. I have a crayon this week. Make sure you're holding it the right way. If you don't hold your crayon the right way, sometimes it's good to break it because it forces you to use your pincer fingers to hold the crayon. You can also put a cotton ball under these 2 fingers over here to keep these fingers down and the rest of your fingers on the crayon. We're going to trace around and make sure we stop. Oops. All right. I have a circle. Now we need to make the top of our fish bowl, this little lid. So we're going to take our marker or crayon and draw a straight line down on the edge of our paper. When you're done, your paper will look like this. So grab your scissors and make sure you're holding them the right way. So I see a lot of you holding your scissors upside down. I want you to make sure your thumb is in the little hole and the rest of your fingers are in the big hole. Now some of you like to keep your pointer out to guide the scissors. That's fine. And for more stability, some of you like to keep your fingers in the hole, and that's fine too. So go ahead and cut on the line first. Slow and steady wins the race. If we go too fast, then it's choppy, and sometimes we can rip the paper if we go too fast. So it helps to sing to pace when cutting. So sometimes with the little ones, we sing open, shut them. So open, shut them, open, shut them. Give a little snip. Open, shut them, open, shut them. Give a little snip. And we have a circle. So you'll need your glue stick because now we're going to put the top on the circle. So you're going to take the strip and glue it on top of your circle. You might need X's for glue for some of you. Now you can see that that is too long, so we're going to cut part of that off. You can just practice snipping the ends, and then when you're done, you'll have a fishbowl. So now we need that blue crayon again, and you can see how the top part of our fishbowl is water. So we're going to find the middle of our fishbowl, or it depends how deep the water you want, how deep you want the water to be. So I'm going to put my water up here. I made 2 dots to connect, and I'm going to draw a wavy line. So practice drawing a wavy line. And then you're going to draw a line above as well, where you want the top of your water to be. And practice coloring in all of the space between these 2 lines. So again, make sure you're holding your crayon the right way. Practice those pencil grasping skills. And practice coloring in between 2 lines. So when my kids color in OT, sometimes they're not even looking at their paper, so it's important to look at your paper when you're coloring. So if you can block out any extraneous stimuli or other stuff going on in the room and have a quiet space to work, that's always helpful. And sometimes a baseball hat helps. It blocks out some of the visual stimuli. It gets you to focus. So we made the water for our fish. Now we need to make the rocks. So I have a piece of purple paper, and I'm just going to rip it up. So practice that reciprocal movement and ripping some tiny rocks for your fish bowl. And when you have enough rocks, you're going to put some glue all over the bottom of your fish bowl. Cover all the space, take your time, put lots of glue, and then we're going to put those rocks in. So push, push, and notice how I'm holding the paper down with my left hand. So that's called a stabilizing hand, and some kids who have poor bilateral integration skills don't use a stabilizing hand to hold their paper. So it's really something you want to remind kids to do. And I have some rocks. And if they overlap on the bottom, you can just snip them off. Just like that. All right, grab your orange paper or scrap. It doesn't have to be too big. We're going to make our little goldfish. So we're going to practice cutting out small shapes. So on your orange paper, you're going to draw 2 little ovals. And you can draw 3 if you want to put 3 fish in your tank. And then you're going to practice cutting out small shapes. So I like to cut close to those little shapes first, so I have less paper to manage. And then I'm going to cut out my ovals. These are my little goldfish. So don't forget, you have to turn the paper. Pay attention and watch me and how I have to turn my paper. So that's where some of you guys have some trouble turning your paper to cut out small shapes. And we have 2 little fish. So we're going to glue those fish in our fish tank. And you can put them anywhere you want. I'm going to put mine right here. It'll look like that, and then I'm going to add an eye and some fins on my fish. Whoops. And you could put a mouth if you want. Those are my fish. And then you can add some bubbles if you want. I don't have a different colored marker, so this might not show up. but you can add some bubbles and plants in your fish bowl and make it your own. And don't forget to put your name on the back. All right, we are all done with cutting and pasting. We're going to put all of these materials away. You guys did a great job. And we're going to practice writing. So grab your writing paper. You might have highlight paper at home and a pencil, and we're going to write a goldfish poem. So I will read it to you first. Goldfish, goldfish, swimming all around. Goldfish, goldfish, never makes a sound. Pretty little goldfish, never can talk. All it does is wiggle when it tries to walk. So I will hold it up here so you guys can copy. And as always, you can pause the frame or the video to get more copying time. All right. Don't forget to keep your letters on the line and space your words. And if you need a highlighted writing line, that is always very helpful. Also a space stick to put down after every word to leave a space between your words. We're going to move on to number 3. And this week I have a shoe and I also have fasteners. So you guys can pick what you want to work on in your one-on-one session. Today I'm just going to tie shoes and show you my practice shoe. So you can see I laced up this shoe with 2 different colors, and I anchored the laces inside to make 2 bunny ears. That's always helpful. And we're going to pull up our bunny ears and pinch them in the middle. So that ripping that we did a little earlier, that's going to help with being able to hold our laces up like this. We're going to make an X and save a space down below. Take the laces closer to our body, push it down through the tunnel, pinch and pull, and we're going to bring those back up and hold them in the middle, make an X, save a space, take the lace that's closer to our body and push it down through the hole and pinch and pull. And that's the adaptive shoe tying method. Now if you want a button or a snap, you guys can go ahead and do that. I'll just show you with zipping. Some of you kindergartners are still working on zipping. Just remember that when you're zipping to keep your thumbs up. So put your garment down in front of you and keep your thumbs up. And look for that little garage and put the car in the garage. Make sure it's all the way down and pull up. And then when you button, it's peekaboo. Pull it through. Pull it through, pull it through, and pull it through. And if you want to work on snaps, find something with snaps in your house, like a jacket, and you have to align snaps, so you have to line them up. So I always call this the belly button. Put the little peg or belly button in the hole. Push down with your thumb because it's your strongest finger. And push. And listen for that pop. Alright, you guys did a great job. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And if you see this video before Mother's Day, happy Mother's Day. Thanks for joining.